So let's start with optimizing hormones. How do we optimize hormones? And this is going to be kind of the same stuff I've been teaching you guys anyways that you're already doing, which is great. One, weight training. There's no other form of exercise that produces more favorable changes in hormone levels. Period. Weight training does it. It almost like if you weight train, your hormone levels will be auto-regulated. For guys, it releases growth hormone, which burns fat, and testosterone, which is very neuroprotective. My grandfather has Alzheimer's, been doing a ton of research. Turns out that a lot of these neurodegenerative diseases are so highly correlated to low testosterone, it's crazy. Testosterone is neuroprotective. And that's one of the issues too, is when we hit these hormonal declines midlife, our brains are getting affected too. It's not just like, okay, you know, I don't need to have muscle mass.
To me,
So, there you go. Two, whole foods. And this is kind of the thing I've been talking about the pesticides and chemicals in these foods that disrupt endocrine systems. Whether it's the hormones that are thrown in the meats is scary enough, as we know in the milk particularly, is making young girls hit puberty. Clearly this stuff has an effect. And the thing is, whenever you have an exogenous hormone source, whether from your foods, your vegetables, when your body senses that exogenous source of hormones, it shuts off its own internal production. Because it says, hey, you know, I'm getting hormones from the outside, I don't need to make them inside. Now the issue is that it shuts down your own production, but those exogenous hormones are not bioidentical, they're not usable. So what they do is they just shut down your own production. So, what's the take home? Organic meats and vegetables when appropriate. You know what I mean? This is like minimizing. If you have a high intake of meat, it better be hormone free. It's like you'd be killing yourself otherwise. Finally, healthy fats. And this is something I can't overstate. Obviously, I got you guys on omega-3s. I told you guys to do the fish oil. Probably the single most important thing you guys can do, supplement-wise, period, in terms of reducing inflammation, improving your body composition, which means building muscle, losing fat, and protecting your brain. Now, I told you what omega-3s do, but now we can actually put a picture on it. So, see these things right here? These are proteins that sit in the cell membrane. Omega-3s, imagine this being omega-3. It comes in and wedges itself in this membrane. Something like this. And so what that does is make sure your cell membranes, all the cells in your body, better able to utilize nutrients. Creates better permeability here, so omega-3s become your cells. So it's kind of cool. And it's also the concept of nutrition, is what you eat becomes you. This is even more true with omega-3s. It reduces inflammation. Now, in these Western diets, we have a very high proportion of omega-6 fatty acids. And basically, by supplementing omega-3s, you guys take care of that, correct the right balance. This will be another supplement that I will highly recommend to you guys, is vitamin D. Particularly, done a lot of studies with guys. Honestly, I would say pay the 25 bucks and you'll get your vitamin D levels checked. It's scary. You can't say we live in Arizona, there's a lot of sun. It doesn't work like that. Yes, your skin can synthesize vitamin D from sunlight, but you've got to check your levels. And even the FDA, which is so resistant to changing anything ever, because they're a government organization, is now going back and saying, wait, we need a lot more vitamin D. Vitamin D regulates your hormone levels. Vitamin D, and like just giving guys vitamin D, correcting those levels, increases testosterone on its own. Really cool. Pretty much the #1 anti-cancer thing out here. You have adequate levels of vitamin D, your skin doesn't burn. Your skin can't burn if your vitamin D is adequate. And in fact, I will say this, sunscreen is one of the worst things that's actually happening to our population, because it blocks all vitamin D synthesis. So when you have enough vitamin D, your skin doesn't burn. So check your levels of vitamin D. Really cheap supplement, but something I would definitely recommend looking into. Healthy levels? I actually don't know the blood levels, and you can do a couple tests, but if you're going to get a test, you got to test vitamin D3. And I can't give you the levels offhand. So let's talk about body use for a second. We had this picture back here of how people age, but it doesn't have to be the case if you continue to exercise through as you age. I'm going to throw a couple pictures up that I find very inspirational. The first one is Jack LaLanne. This is Jack LaLanne when he looks like he was in maybe his mid-30s. This is him at like 80 right here. He freaking looks phenomenal. He looks like pretty much the same as he did. Why? Because he eats a lot of unprocessed foods and he exercises. every single day. In fact, Jeff Lane is actually one of my, I'd say one of the people I look up to the most as someone I want to model. You know, he died at 96. You know, he hit his morning workout that day. So, I mean, it's just like, if you came forward with his lifestyle, and clearly you can see the benefits, the results speak for themselves. So the other guy, it's a very famous bodybuilder, Frank Zane. He was big around Arnold Schwarzenegger's time. This is Frank Zane in the 70s. The dude looks the exact same. In fact, if I went on stage with this guy, he would kick my ass. Like, unbelievable what the body can do if you maintain the use. Another one, Jane Fonda is another good example, honestly. I mean, she's total fitness guru here. This is Jane Fonda at 72. She's still going strong. She looks good. And the point is that I'm not trying to say, and this is based on research, I'm not trying to say that simply continuing to use your body is going to be the ultimate solution. Because there are changes that happen in your tissues as you age. It's just how it is. But we can attenuate those, and you can still have these kind of results. They can be attenuated. So what do? 1, weight training. Strong bones, strong muscles, good hormones, period. 2, active recreating. I've mentioned studies by this guy, Dan Buettner. I also really like, he wrote these books called The Blue Zones. I'm going to talk to you guys about this a little bit. He got a grant from National Geographic. He went around the world and he found the 5 populations that consistently live to around 100 years. And he asked the question, what do these populations do? What do they have in common? The number one thing is all these populations are active every single day. They just move. And I'm not saying they exercise per se, but as you can imagine, these are some rural villages, such as in South America. There's one in Italy, there's one in Japan. Like, if they have to go get water when they're 80, the grandma walks to the mountain and gets water. These people just maintain a high level of activity. So what I would recommend is your recreational activities. Make them active, make them moving. Whether it's, incorporate that into your lifestyle. Now, exercise does it too. But I'm just trying to give you guys the research. The research shows that just moving, even getting up for 20 minutes because you gotta pee, does magic on blood glucose regulation. Finally, low intensity cardio. When I say low intensity, I know I'm not trying to say it's not hard. I mean, a 24-mile run is low intensity in terms of your threshold, your metabolic threshold. It's still really hard. So low intensity means using fat, using the mitochondria, using the beta oxidation. So it's like a sprint that uses anaerobic pathways, leaves you gasping for air. Whereas that steady state cardio feel, heart rate is around, I don't know, probably under 150 for most people in that zone. That's that steady state lower intensity cardio. What this does, initiates mitochondrial biogenesis, grows new mitochondria. Why is that awesome? Because mitochondria, when they're healthy, fight free radical formation, 1. 2, allow you to produce more energy and burn more fat. The more mitochondria you have, the more storage units you have to burn fat. So it's pretty much, this will be one of the fountains of youth, is incorporating constantly. That's why, having a mix of your training is critical. 2-3 days of weight training a week, full body, you don't need to get fancy with it. Even 2 days full body, and then a couple cardio workouts there, you're done. I mean, that's perfect protocol. So finally, minimizing oxidation. Low intensity cardio we talked about. 2, nutritional adaptations. And this is what I want to throw out to you guys. This is some very new research. It's actually been going on for 10 years, but it's now really coming out. It's on the benefit of fasting, on fasting. Now, it's been very unfortunate that the health and fitness industry has really pushed this, you have to eat 6 small meals a day. It actually came from bodybuilders. We're kind of guilty because trying to eat, 6,000 calories a day, some of these big guys have to do, they decide, well, the only way to do that is to break it into small meals. If we look at the body from an evolutionary perspective, and I know this is probably going against everything you guys have heard, which is exactly what I'm telling you. If we look at the body from an evolutionary perspective, the hunter-gatherer man-woman didn't have constant food access. Didn't. It's not like you could go down to the fridge and pull something. Maybe there was a day where the body wasn't eating. There's another day where there was a big meal. It's just there wasn't constant food availability. I've talked about this before. Point being, the body's really damn good at fasting. Now, There's a couple protocols you guys can do, but even 1 day a week, 24-hour fast, here's the benefits. Improved insulin sensitivity. We've talked a lot about that in terms of more insulin sensitive, you're going to burn more fat. Decreases fat mass, preserves muscle, lowers cholesterol on its own through the fasting. And the most exciting thing that I think, grows new brain cells. We didn't think that was possible. De novo neurogenesis. You build more neurons, you get smarter through fasting. And so, it's really, really cool stuff. And I can point you guys in the right direction on different fasting protocols. I do it. I fast for 16 hours every single day, and I eat for 8. I've just made my eating window smaller. I'm just telling you personally from my life. It's really easy. You sleep 7 hours a night, you skip breakfast, you skip lunch, and then you eat later in the day. It's that easy. But the benefits are unbelievable. You'll see this research start to come out. There's a lot of protocols. And now I'm not saying you have to do this, but definitely it's the anti-aging diet.
I have a question.
Yes.
And what I call fasting for me is I juice normally.
Okay.
I'll do like 2 days, but all I do is drink a juice.
You can do, I would say yes on vegetable juices, no on fruit juices.
Okay.
And the reason why is the benefit of the fast comes from having your body sense that there's no calories. So, I mean, if you're doing a vegetable-based juice like greens juices, pretty much has no calories in it as is. But a fruit juice can be a huge spike in sugar, but your body will still sense. So the benefit of the fast comes from the fact your body senses there's no nutrients. And here's the other thing I want to talk about fasting, is when we eat constantly, we're constantly giving our body a signal for new growth, which is good. We want to grow new tissues. But, like everything in this world, there's kind of a yin and there's a yang. There's a day, there's a night. We need a process of cleaning up. If we're constantly throwing growth on and we're not clearing out the debris, we're going to have problems. So the process the body has is called autophagy, which essentially you can imagine is your body's garbage man coming through, picking up all the metabolic waste and clearing it out. And that's why a lot of these cleanses work, because we build up all this crap from eating constantly, and then people are like, all right, I feel like crap, let me do a 10-day crazy lemon cleanse and get it all out of me, and then restart the building up crap cycle. What if you give your body a process to kind of clear out almost on a more continuous basis, giving your body a rest from eating constantly? Really cool stuff. Endurance athletes are killing it on this. And so I can point you guys in the right direction if you want to look into that.